to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Approval or amendment of meeting agenda items. Do we have any changes?
No, ma'am, we do not.
Okay. Have a motion.
I'll make a motion to give it
I'll second it. It's been moved and seconded to approve the agenda. All in favor? Aye. Approval of minutes.
I will be approved the minutes of September 14th and the special meeting minutes of September 21st.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Any early items? Correspondence.
Yes, received a thank you card from Carolyn Anderson. It's on page 64 in your packets, which I have on staff. Thank you for your thoughts and our Daryl's mom. Very much appreciate it.
And the board does also have one there, so I'll try to address the board specifically. Pass that.
Do any public comment? Public? Okay. Reports. Check register.
The one thing I want to bring back from the last meeting was the question about fuel down at EDA. And I'm going to turn it over to
Basically, they fill that once a year, do a check, we do a check every month and see where the level is. But ADA gets filled once a year. It's back up to the geothermal, so the boilers are kicked on with that. We keep that in stock back there for that. And I believe, Daryl, correct me if I'm wrong, doesn't it, I asked Pedro, and that was, for a week or so ago, but doesn't it run something else? The boilers will still kick on, or maybe not, maybe the hot water or something for that diesel tank comes on. And that's why we use a little bit of that fuel.
At 88?
Yeah. Seems like he told me and I listened.
Because we wouldn't have used it, correct? Our geothermal did not go down.
No, it didn't go down. I think if it gets to a certain, drops to a certain, boilers will kick on, but I don't think we have a boilers kick on.
No, and I don't, the last time I talked to Doug, we didn't use the boilers when it came on last year at all. We need a little update on, maybe he can give us a little update on how much fuel we use.
Oh, was it
It's the
question?
hot water, isn't it? That's what I thought. It is for the hot water, so it's gonna kick, or it's gonna kick the diesel.
The geothermal, they put the one in the high school, like I said, but they didn't put one over again.
Right, it probably doesn't heat in domestic hot water either.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So,
That's what I just said it wasn't involved.
Yeah.
so we should be using a little, which should be pretty small.
It is very small, and that's why it's once a year.
It's like $4,500. For a whole year.
But he got it for $2 a gallon.
Yeah, it was cheap compared to what it's been.
That's what I'm thinking.
2,200.
But he may not have filled it
Last
the
year.
prior year either. I don't think he did. I don't
So we
remember
were gonna,
anything on it
we
last
have to
year.
look and see if we can fill it a year ago.
I'm pretty
That
sure.
might, that might provide.
Yeah, we
some
can check on that, but I don't think we lost any time on it.
We did.
We have had a few times that it's went down. It's only been down for like 2 hours.
And there are conditions, and there's not.
Well, most of it been used in the cafeteria.
Right.
That's what most of it is. And I can't answer that, why do we do that? That's something we ought to do.
Yeah, that's something we should look at. The other thing, piece of this, I didn't look and see if it was a full year last year.
Because it's basically free heat in a sense. We pay a base amount
Right.
up to a certain amount, so we need to try to use all those things.
That's for discussion. So that's.
Any more questions on
Check register?
check register?
Thank you.
Okay. Check this off. Facilities update.
Well, yeah, I will chime in, both in regard to discussion on this, the painting, you know, look, seriously, look at Union School is already painting as well, so what discussed in the last meeting is we put bids out for Amy's recommendation probably in December, and maybe try to get something done during spring vacation. And then we'll either pursue bids for both ADA and for Union School.
Well, and I think that we have to be careful at spring break also because it could be snow sightings at spring break. So we are probably looking at getting bids December, January, February. And probably the day the kids leave in June is probably when we start painting. In reality, we'll also have to look at the budget at that point in time also. We're going to be, we're a little bit more than we expected about it, such as the bus barn and little things like that. So, you know, at that point, once we get closer to spring break, and I wouldn't look for what for us if we had any call for that. So I would look for more searching.
Just like I think the rain is coming from all the, go to Washington,
California bids it.
getting into, yeah, we'll see.
So do we have union and ADA in the budget?
We have ADA, part of ADA, in the budget. We did not realize there was as much lead as there is now. With that being said, union is in way worse shape as far as lead is concerned. So probably we would bid union separately to ADA and then know that it could be a combined effort at the end of the day.
I guess I just wonder, you probably have a good idea of this outlook for next year, whether that would be it or if we would be trying to get something else also next year.
ADA, the painting is first on the agenda because that we couldn't on the agenda for this year. So the painting piece is moved up the ladder for next fiscal. And as well, and as with the CTE revitalization, which if we get awarded that grant, that's a separate issue. But I think that the painting is a prime thing that we've got on our
I guess I'm just saying, we're getting bids, we're getting bids for as much as we think is
That's what I was gonna say, let's.
relatively
that is what-
feasible.
So here's the process there, Dustin, is basically, we're starting there, and that gives us a better idea for when it does come to budget season, and I don't feel like I've under budgeted something too, we can budget better.
So when you say bid though, we're getting an estimate. They're coming out
Yes,
and they're.
estimate bid, yeah.
Well, then I would like to get an estimate on everything.
I think that's
All
what
of our
we
boards.
asked for, 15,
Yes,
is for everything.
Yes, we're starting with Union, we're going to Hay, because those two buildings didn't get any paid. Fremont is another one, but yes,
You'll do
eventually
the
we are
bids
going
for
to
all.
get a bid for all of them, but it's gonna be broke out probably in separate bids.
Can't you do all the bids though this winter? I mean, we don't have to necessarily pay for all of them anyway, but then we can look and see how much everything is.
Correct. I'm just telling you, Union and 80
Our top of the list.
Top of the
I hear
list.
that. I
We
hear
know.
that.
But if we've got a painter that's coming in, it's gonna be next
Because we
fiscal
have
year.
bids on all of the buildings.
Yes.
Okay.
Just happened to leave laundry, be willing to bring
A generous of you.
want everything to be ready.
That's not all okay. Nope. Bleachers, bleacher project will begin in earnest on November 30th. Estimated time on that, I think it's what, a week?
If we get the bleachers on November 30th, like we're slated to, 3 days would have been. We're waiting on the drawings for official engineer stamp on them. Once we get those, but they did have to order to get that date. Basically a 3-day turnaround time. We'll have bleachers out of there for night.
That happen?
Well, tentatively, that's, I mean, that's kind of the go-for plan, as long as he gets me my stamps. engineer.
Moving along on that. Questions on the bleachers? Soccer field, we've, dirt has been hauled in, various ends and corners and then filled and, we're nervous about sod. We're slowing down in the middle, so.
We're actually waiting on a little bit more dirt. Carol and I talked about that this morning.
Yeah, we've got some more dirt.
We've got some more dirt to fill in on the
Dirt,
sides.
but a couple truckloads of section.
So that's the views on that. What we talked about last morning. Follow that.
Well, the bus barn, they broke ground. I think they're ready for concrete.
Tomorrow morning.
Wow.
8 o'clock, huh?
You work some magic, did you?
I did.
So yeah, so they're ready for the concrete, and they're moving along, on that, so. Yeah. We should be, are we still on target for November 30th? We pushed it back 2 weeks, correct?
Yes.
So conclusion date, let's get a conclusion.
We pushed it back 2 weeks, because of trusses. The ones that we wanted, ordered, but it'll be 2 weeks. But 2 weeks is fine. So yeah, so it's moving.
Concrete? We couldn't, if you want to put the words.
Well,
What's that?
Put your initials in the soccer field, you should put them in.
We can put our initials in the soccer field.
I know you're.
I got a chick that can mow the lawn.
A little more discreet. That's very exciting. I didn't realize they were.
Moving along on some
Yeah.
things, yeah.
Very good.
Union playground is complete. John came in my office this afternoon and said that they got it where the kids can play on it as of today. I think the dedication's Friday.
Friday, 1:30, you are invited, so. Friday, time, okay. 2 o'clock on Friday, Union Playground dedication.
And I included what they spent and what was donated. We did the, $10,000 contribution that we had approved last, a while ago.
Spring.
There we go. Parent Club donated 24 to 5. The west side for the $1,000 is actually about 11,132 twice, that's the main structure, and the 3266 was the seesaw. Now Home Depot expense, that's the little shed that they had purchased, and it ended up that, Fred doesn't have a construction class this term, so I think John and Sam put it together, so it gets up for him. Of course, concrete, the basketball hoop, so they've got about 4,600 left over, and I think they were gonna do some different things. The chips got donated, and there's gonna be some borders that they're gonna work on. John's working on those, but he thought that would come later, around there. And then, of course, John has spent $61.5 on the union project. So that's kind of an in-kind donation on our part, we cover those expenses outside of 10,000. So, I think there's just little things left that, like the borders and that sort of thing, but other than that, it's pretty cool.
It's really nice, I really like it. Spruce up that playground.
So there's a balance of 46.
But that's the, Westside Parents Club.
That was really my question.
Yeah, it's to use at their discretion. So they'll probably call me and say, we decided to get this, that, or the other, we're good. Okay.
Okay, 2 o'clock Friday.
Okay, 2 o'clock.
Building principals.
Well, you know, it is homecoming week, so I will let Mr. Clark, Mr. Hamlin give a quick report about what's happening at homecoming week. So, you guys can find out what draws, Bill wants to do, so go for it.
Well, we've got the week started off, we have our dress up days. Today was pajama day. Tomorrow's twin day. We have college fan day. Blue gold day, of course, on Friday. We have home events all throughout the week. Soccer's at home Wednesday. Volleyball's at home Thursday. Football's home Friday. Friday we have our we're on assembly schedule, 2 o'clock. We announce our court, king and queen.
2
And
o'clock.
2 o'clock in the gym, and then we move to the parade.
Oh,
Mr. Louie and Mrs. Mize have done a great job planning with the kids this year. It's lots of activities we're doing. Wednesday night, we've got the He-Man volleyball and a little air band, a little lip sync going on in the gym at 6 o'clock. There's fall decorations going on today. It's a fun week, just fun. Dance 8 o'clock on Saturday night at the EMS auditorium. We dance and shoes.
Invite you guys to that.
Yeah.
Carol?
I've offered to chaperone and never been taken.
Oh, no.
I don't understand.
But the football games with MoDOT, JV's at 4:30 and varsity at 7. We always get a nice crowd. MoDOT travels. Brings a lot of people, so it should be a fun night. Lots of people. That's all I have.
Principal, Miguel, would you like to add anything for Susan?
Well, as far as Susan goes, nothing to report this time. Give you all the good news and everything. I've been substituting for the past few days, and it's just stepping back into my Yes, Susan Warner came to me last spring, and they seriously looking at some minimum days that were grandfathered in from when Union used to be school district number 5. School district number 5 made the transition to school district number 7. The folks at the west side asked that these minimum midterm grade days be on the calendar. They've been on the calendar every year for as long as I've been at school, 12 years. In looking at two things, first off, discussing it with the staff out there, that's the first thing, and discussing it with the parents club and the site committee. And the second thing is, with these early release Wednesdays, Mrs. Warner has asked me to come board tonight and revise the district calendar by removing the Union School minimum midterm grade days. So that's the change to the calendar. The initial calendar that you approved last April had those 4 minimum days included. What we're asking for this evening is a revision of the district calendar to remove the Union School minimum grade days. Those dates are October 2nd, December 11th, February 26th, and May 13th. I'll read them all to you. October 2nd, December 11th, February 26th, May 13th.
What was the point of it?
The point of this is that with the early release Wednesday input from the community, they feel they no longer need the midterm student release day to do midterm grades. They used to have a midterm early student release day. The students would go home in the afternoon and the teachers would do their midterm grades. So Mrs. Warner and staff at Union School are asking that those days be removed and the students be in school all day on those days.
So if we, future years, were to do away with the early release, then this would be something that could happen.
Well, I don't know, she didn't mention that. It's probably a question we should have asked. Even last year, when we didn't have the early release days, they were quite comfortable to do without those days. Matter of fact, the spring one, they had a field trip on the spring release day, and Mrs. Warner kept her students in to finish up the score balance testing. So to answer your question, no, I don't think it's something that we bring up.
It is in the CDA. And so there would have to be, for this year,
We're changing that agreement for the unit.
But it's only.
It is? Really, it is. Just for Union School.
Yeah.
You do that, check that out.
Yeah. How did we miss that? Guess it showed me this wedding.
It did not have it memorized, don't get it.
What do you think, Junior, we could set this and move it out to you?
It is. Everyone involved was.
Yeah, I was gonna say, the people who are involved are the ones who, and so
Yeah. And
as
then
long as
going,
I don't have to write it.
going forward, I would think
Yeah, it should
everything should be the
it
same.
should be.
Yeah.
I'm just doing preparation.
Well, it's been there for a long time.
Yeah.
But I should be aware. And so nothing
Didn't
out
keep very
there.
good note, my notes don't know.
So just something to be written up before we can approve it.
I think we could probably approve them.
I would approve it to change or revise the 2015-16 calendar we add to amend it with memorandum of understanding with LMEA.
That's two separate. To approve creation. To accept. They're kind of two separate things.
Well,
Might
what
not be.
what about classified? Do they have a?
Well, then I suggest we take this, because right now we're doing that all, one of those perfect pieces of information.
We're gonna have to second happen.
I mean, yeah, I don't think it's an issue of us doing, being, or, yeah.
So whatever we need to do to help you,
Yeah.
we can move the
Well-
change pending a memorandum of understanding with
Yeah, that's the only thing I don't know what to call it in the CBA. I don't have any idea if we pass the CBA and October 2nd is going to happen. So,
Well, I will go ahead and move the revision of the 2015-16 calendar, and then another amendment to, another motion to pursue communication or memorandum of understanding with two prospective unions.
and maybe we don't even need that, you would just bring us that MOU in the next meeting to be approved, pursuant to what we approved tonight.
Let's just get the calendar approved, and then I will have time.
I'll move that we amend the calendar to remove the union school midterm grade days of October 2nd. So, December
As
11th.
presented.
That's presented.
And then to regular Wednesday. Second.
We moved to second to approve the change to the 2015 calendar to remove the union minimum days. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries.
Yeah, go ahead and make a motion to pursue memorandums of understanding with the classified and certified bargaining units. That will return that one. Pursue memorandum of understanding with the certified and classified bargaining units. There's your motion.
Dustin just made that motion.
Yes, sir.
As presented.
We moved and seconded to pursue memorandum of understanding with both certified and classified unions, referring, with regard to the removal of the minimum day at union. More discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Okay. New business. IT assistant job description approval.
New to the district, this job description was developed by Mr. Reese, who is the supervisor of Miss Mrs. Alexander, who will be placed in that IT, information technology assistant position. And I reviewed it a number of times. Mr. Reese said he designed it and has reviewed it, so I think this captures that job quite well as far as the job description. So I bring this to you for approval this evening. So there it is, as presented. Questions?
It's a new job, right?
Yes, Mrs. Alexander was qualified to be in this position last
To the full plan.
Yeah, back when they first came out here. So, he just vamped it to what she's giving.
I'll make a motion to approve the IT assistant job description as posted.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the IT assistant job description as presented. Is there any question?
We approved it, I just don't know.
Oh, before I get on.
Yeah. I don't know if you have, she's wondering.
Well, then you already, everyone else would know. It's been discussed.
Okay. Anything else? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay. Would you like me to combine those three, or you want to talk
Yeah.
about each one?
Nope, I don't wanna talk about each one of them. Adel, Flush, and MoDOC, flat fee. Right at the moment, we just need an MOU in place for the 15-16 school year. Essentially, this reads the same as the prior year. The dollar figure per student is the same at $54.05, with the caveat in there, under number 5, section D, until audited financial statements become available, at which time the rate can adjust accordingly to cost per student calculations. So MoDOC, we go back and forth. They are doing the same thing with the flat rate, holding out for their audited financial statements. Of course, Adel and Flush is a different deal. They strictly just come to us. So they're just a flat fee. We went with that last year. It's a lot easier across the board.
Is that standard practice for the wait till it's audited and then?
Wait till audited, yeah, and then you adjust. And then what we'll do is go back to September and do the difference and then go forward. And do a new MOU with the right, or with the new rate.
And is that a new thing we're adding this year, that we, with the audit language?
No, what happened last year is I waited till we got audited financial statements. And then, and it really puts a hardship on Adel and Flush, especially because they're so small that they gotta know where their money is, be more confident of that. So this year I said, how about we just get the MOU in place, use the same rate until everybody's got their financial statements in place after audit. And so that's probably not going to happen until January in reality. But you can, the language is all the same, Adel, Flush, and MoDOC. We did have it reviewed by Jeff Hedlund last year, so I didn't change anything other than the audited financial statements.
So, can we approve these all at the same time, or we need to make a motion?
I would think as long as you made the Adel, Flush, and MoDOC, I think you'll be fine.
Looks like Adel and Flush are MOUs or MoDOC in the contract.
Should be. The agenda that referred to as contracts.
Should be the same.
Yeah, so it's a
It does
contract.
say contract for students, on the MoDOC side. One, so you can leave MoDOC to the side and do it separately, but the Adel and Flush would be,
You can only do a question or a motion and then do the law, so.
And then just, and we say that's the MOU with Adel.
I'll make a motion to approve the MOUs between Adel, Flush, and us in regards to in-state tuition for 18. I'll second.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor? Motion carries. Okay,
Make a motion to approve the contract for tuition for 15-16 MoDOC.
okay. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
School District Evaluator request.
Last spring, the Huey folks, from Plush had asked me to evaluate their senior teacher out there, and, individual teacher. And they are asking me to assume that position again. It didn't take a long time, but probably 4 visits, one in the morning or late afternoon. The big thing I did is I made sure I did a quarter of my day as far as my responsibilities as this district. So it worked out reasonably well. Her final evaluation, she came to Lakeview and I did the final evaluation in my office. And the board asked me to attend the board meeting to present the evaluation. It was an evening session. So I have no objection to doing it again, but I think that's a need for approval to make that happen. So if you have any questions, once again, I think the thing that I raised last year, one of the is, plus kids will eventually come to the school district. So I think it's a pretty good partnership. So
Well, I think last year at least I remember asking about the compensating for your time of travel, thinking that because their kids come here, that it was a reciprocal. I don't know that I feel like we need to do that, I can make that up to you.
yeah, I talked to him about as far as compensating me, and I negotiated with him as far as compensating me just for my travel. And I'm still able to give me that benefit of that. Discuss with them to relinquish that. But at least my travel for sure. And then you need to compensate for that. So.
Well, I guess I feel, I don't know about you guys, but I feel comfortable in that, I don't feel like they need to reimburse us.
Right.
So,
Was that travel that you use one of our vehicles?
I use my range. So. No, I think I prefer to use my vehicle to go out there than the district vehicle, so.
That would require, oh, well, I mean, that would be me charging them to get him compensated to the district, which isn't a problem, but I think it's cleaner to pay it straight to him because it's
Right.
outside of district settings.
okay.
I'd feel much better to do it that way, so.
However, I'm comfortable with that.
I don't care. What is it, 40 miles to Plush?
40 miles to
20
Plush,
bucks,
yeah.
drive out there, 20 bucks to drive back.
Okay,
It's not that big a deal.
no, and I'm delighted that we can do that. All right.
Probably better have a motion on it.
I'll make the motion to approve the Plush School District Evaluator request. Anything else you need to add?
I'll second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Okay, thank you.
Consent agenda. Is there any questions on this?
A number of resolutions in there. If you have questions, I defer them to Janet. You're welcome. They're related to transfers, so.
I have one question. Resolution 14,
14,
item E,
hold on, one minute there.
contracted services, Oregon Cooperative Procurement Program.
Yeah, we're members of ORCAP. We can get all kinds of items through there. One of the things that, we need to start doing through there is part of our food program, or cafeteria. They really don't like the part that K&K tells us that they don't have any wheat bread left over to give to us, or, for us to purchase. So during our cafeteria audit last year, they said we had the opportunity through ORCAP we needed to not use the K and K, you know.
Okay, so
Correct.
what do we contract with ORCAT for?
Well, we can get all kinds of things through the procurement, program, and so,
Mhm.
I mean, you know, it's an unlimited amount of stuff. So we could contract with them, or we're in a contract now, as far as I know, at least that's my understanding of how this works, that we're already members of it. And we can purchase items that we don't necessarily can find, it can be at a discount price, it could be, if it's furniture, it could be kind of surplus maybe, things along that nature. It's not a bad deal.
All kinds.
Do you remember when you joined that?
Yeah, I remember we talked about, I just didn't
Most
quite
all
look at
state
them like a contract of service. Like we were
Yeah.
actually
Oh.
paying them to do something,
We haven't paid them to do anything.
because we pay all the other contracted services to do something for it. So I guess I didn't.
Our main concern there is that our requirements for the cafeteria, as far as, the food requirements that we're required to have. We're so remote that we have trouble getting certain items.
So maybe it's just to show that we are doing business with them, are able to do business with them,
We
even though we don't
cooperate
pay
with
them.
them.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily a contract of
System.
service.
No, but maybe for purposes of proving to the food powers that be.
Okay, that was my only question.
Any other questions for consent agenda item? So you had a question about that, but not the $197,000.
No, I didn't have a question about that.
Those are pretty typical.
Okay, do I have a motion?
I'll move that we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Announcements, board retreat,
Board retreat training this Wednesday, September 30th, 4 to 7 p.m. in this same room. Rebecca is setting up a deal with Subway to feed you, so I think it's going to be a very informative session, and really forward to being a part of that and really learning about the aspects of how to run proper board meetings, from probably pro to executive sessions to the whole work. So I think it's going to be a very informative thing and worth our while. So. Next, OSBA Fall Regional Meeting is next week, a week from tomorrow. So ESD is asking that we have some commitment as far as who is going to that. And we needed it today, I think.
Yeah, they said I could do it tomorrow morning.
And so if you can let her know tomorrow morning or even this evening, if you intend to go to that, please let us know. I will have the expedition. What time is it going to be? 6 o'clock, I would assume.
You know what the date is?
Have they said time yet?
It might be on there. Do you have that card in front of you? Does it say the time there, Stephanie?
dinner at 6, meeting 6:30.
So I'd suggest us leaving at 5 o'clock. Or leave from the district office. Any takers this evening?
Coming down is not cold, right?
Yes.
Go ahead and Garrett will be home, so there's a volleyball game that night, but if he could go, then I can go to the meeting.
Okay. Dustin?
Petition review from WB changes my hunting date.
Okay. We've got it. Carol?
I don't,
You have to pick them up on the way.
and I went last year.
That's right, didn't you and Desi go?
Yes, we did.
I'm sure Pete can make it.
That's
Oh.
true.
I
Anyway,
Is that a no? Is that a no?
That's a no, I don't think I can.
if you change your mind no matter what, the expedition rolls out at 5 o'clock. So be there and we'll go up there and have to find a meal and learn something, so. The last thing I want to remind the board of is the 2015 OSBA Annual Convention in Portland, November 12th through the 15th. I intend to be there for that. I believe Annie has committed herself to going to that, so please work with Rebecca on travel arrangements and we'll get you reserved and get everything set up. So. And that is all I have for announcements.
Next, any late items?
There are none.
Next board meeting agenda items.
I will probably bring back some sort of memorandum of understanding for you to approve on the union calendar change. And we will save the teacher survey for the second meeting in October work session. And then of course, also the next meeting will be board reports. And Janet, Rebecca, anything else that comes to mind?
You want written building reports for the first.
Yeah, principles, if you could do written building reports for the next meeting.
And
So.
the next meeting is October 12th, I think.
Oh, and so the ASB rep will be.
Okay.
Should we go out into the classrooms before then, or wait, are we gonna approve a letter Dustin writes up by the next meeting, or?
I think that is up to you, so.
It would kind of depend on when we did that. And hunting starts
Who's
Saturday.
the ASB advisor?
Saturday? I thought we were still hunting. I
I
have my guy.
Do you?
I think if you have a chance, go in there and you just call
Okay.
ahead of time
Yeah.
and say, we wanted to,
You know what's
it's
a-
not a big deal.
Okay.
It really is not a big
It
deal.
isn't.
You know,
It
if
does.
I
I
will work on a letter of
Like Bill and-
schedule.
They need to address the
And
word.
I will work on a letter that will go out, an email that will go out to staff along with the schedule. And I'll get it to you, I will get it to you
I'll
tomorrow.
go.
Thank you.
Okay,
And then I think we should probably put on there the biofuel additive.
okay, we can get that on there too. And I will be talking to Mr. Roberts about that.
Or maybe we already didn't do it, I don't know. I don't think we did. Anything else? Yes. One on the agenda? Okay.
Well, we might have a financial report.
We're gonna have one. FYI,
Financial report.
It is in the cards.
I'm ready to roll,
I think we
so.
should just
I
get as
just
much
have to
stuff on
confirm
this
the 10
coming
o'clock
agenda
time
as
for you.
possible.
Yeah. So that you don't feel guilty when
If
you're
you
out.
can't make it, then,
Deer
I
camp?
think I can, I just, she's in Southern
It's all
California,
taken
I just
care
wanna
of.
check.
Okay, we're still at the 8th for 10:30.
Well, and we shouldn't be taking a computer.
I sent you an email already.
Did you? Thank you.
Mhm.
Once in a while, I have been known to forget things. Very rarely.
I know.
So do I have a motion for adjournment?
Make the motion
So
to
moved.
adjourn.
It's been moved by 3 people.
I chose Annie, so someone else would like to say.